And we are now officially on the air on YouTube. This is the TheRealTrain writers,
Hey,
the first edition of the show, currently called TheRoundHouse, which Fox told us apparently has something to do with trains. Sure,
Bad name.
actually
Bad
does,
name.
but that's what he told us. Alex Fox, we'll go to you first. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. Don't be alarmed by the sound of my voice. That's just how I sound. Happy to be nice to Kenny Week.
All right, our Western PA correspondent, Evan Hatton. How are you doing, Evan?
I'm doing pretty good. I just ran and I smell kind of bad, but it's all good.
So is Paul.
All right, coming to us from down
I'll
south,
bring you in later.
a couple boys from Virginia Tech, Garrett and Paul. Say hello to the people.
Guys, how we doing? Garrett, Paul. Paul is currently having computer troubles, but we're rocking out here, ready to win. I'm ready to win. Paul's just going to speculate.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
And lastly, our resident All-American, Caleb Gatchell. How are you doing now?
Pretty well. Counting on my shooting percentage to be higher than Kobe's shooting percentage tonight. But we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Hungry something 301.
We're going to do some track talk, some topics. We're going to hit around with a little debate and hopefully give you guys some interesting points. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, we're at TheRealTrain11. I'll be trying to keep an eye on the Twitter sphere while organizing this as the moderator for today's proceedings. Our first topic of the day, we're talking about none other than the University of Oregon's Edward Cheserek and his recent loss at the Pepsi Invitational. This whole section, this is called "How Much Do You Care?" And my first question, we'll start with Caleb because he's the fastest. How much do you care about Ed Cheserek losing in this most recent 5,000 meters?
I don't care at all. Cheserek shows up with championship season, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So Colby Gilbert should ride any momentum he's getting from this, but Cheserek's going to be around when it matters, and I don't think this really matters to him at all.
So, Garrett, you do a lot of posting about NCAA things.
I do.
One question here, what are your thoughts? How much do you care?
Yeah, I care little to none. It's pretty much like there's no reason. Like who cares? I mean, they were saying on Let's Run forums, but let's be honest, how valid are Let's Run forums that Edward Cheserek was feeling bad, he was not looking good, didn't have the gears. But honestly, after that indoor triple at NCAAs, are you really going to doubt the guy? I mean, the guy went 3:52 off a 13:40 something 5K 30 minutes beforehand. I mean, come on. Who cares? Who cares? There's no way he's going to lose anything else.
And defeating a Virginia Tech man in the process. Fox,
That's true.
do you have any difference in opinion here, or are you going to just give me the same?
Yeah. I'll take a different opinion. I don't care that Edward Cheserek lost. I care that he was not in a good place. He was sick, or he was injured, and he decided to run, and he decided to risk his season just to race in front of the home fans. I don't think that was smart. I appreciate him trying to put on a show, but I think putting his season in jeopardy was not right. Is he going to show up if he's healthy at NCAAs? Yeah, but we don't know if he's healthy now. So,
Evan, how about you? You ran the most recently out of all of us. What do you think about this running?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in him losing right now. Like, he lost pretty early in cross country, and
BT just
Curtin
went out there.
Yeah, and then Curtin got 22nd at NCAA. So that's just off the top of my head, though. I don't remember if that's right or not.
Well, you know what? I don't know who Ohio State has, so I'm just throwing that
That
out.
would be no one.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Calm down.
Paul, now at his own live window, you want to care to chime in on this Edward Cheserek conversation?
I
think other people can jump ahead.
It's not a big
Not a big
deal.
deal.
He's lost
before, and he brings the magic at NCAAs. So
Yeah, that's
doesn't
what
matter.
If he brings the magic, he brings the magic.
So nice, we heard it twice from one.
That flag looks a
Yeah,
little
this-
familiar.
this sector's name-
You got it. You got to get out. You got to get out. Yeah.
All right.
Paul's like,
The trips
Which
for,
one's yours?
for
I told
Colby
him,
Gilbert.
I'll do it.
Is anyone
Are you
buying
going to my room?
stock now because of this? Anyone buying any Washington stock?
I've
No.
invaded Garrett's bedroom.
I didn't hear any of that.
I'm sorry. So what about the Washington stock?
Yeah.
Sorry, say
Anybody
again?
buying Colby Gilbert stock now?
No.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had such a great indoor season. I was killing it. And all of a sudden, he comes by. He gets a momentum boost off of 1344, beating Cheswick. He's gonna gain the momentum. He's gonna keep improving. I don't see why not. He's an All-American contender in my mind.
Caleb,
I mean,
over
it was a 20-second PR out of nowhere, though.
Paul jumps in. 20-second PR. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
I was
he
not
had
aware of
not
that.
gone under 14 prior to
That's
that.
impressive. It's impressive.
That's
Just saying.
quick. I was not aware of that.
It's still a 1344. You got to take it at what it is. Yeah, he beat Ches, but if he runs 1344 to beat somebody else, we're not making this big a deal over it.
That is, yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
When you consider the amount of improvement he had, what he was able to do in the 3K indoors and of course throughout the DMR, all throughout indoors and how he's improving and just coming off of that, I don't know, he looks good. I think you got to put him in the conversation to make nationals. And if he has a good day and the race plays out the right way, maybe he gets a All-American spot.
He ran 749 his freshman year inside. He ran 14:15 outside. He ran 750 this indoor season. We'll see.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, let's move on here. Let's jump over, staying on the West Coast. Grant Fisher making his debut on the track in a Stanford uniform, running 3:42 for 1500 small meet, along with teammates Sean McGordy and Tom Coyle. Shout out to Pennsylvania. Let's see. What does everybody think about Grant Fisher's debut? How much do you care? Caleb, start us off.
I care a little bit. I care more than I care that Ches lost. Fisher ran the same meet last year, or a meet around the same time, a couple weeks later actually, sorry, and was a little slower. So he's faster than he opened up last year. I care because we saw that he's healthy and they trust him enough to put a jersey on him and get him out there and race. So Stanford doesn't do that with freshmen unless they think they're going to be a contender down the road. And we saw that in cross. He didn't come out until their coach felt like he was going to be good enough to make an impact. He was the top American freshman at NCAAs in cross. And I think it's realistic to see the same type of performance outdoors now. I think he's going to keep progressing. He'll make NCAAs. Whether he makes it out of prelims or not, I'm not sure. But it's good to see him healthy and racing.
Fox, sounds like you're doing a little research there. What do you got for us on Fisher?
I mean, he ran 750 inside. He ran 342. He finished top 20 in the nation in cross country. I'm buying this kid. This freshman class has come out with something to prove, and I think we're going to see him run a very, very fast 5K at Peyton Jordan, and he will be the fastest freshman in the 5K at the end of this year.
All right, Paul, because I like your shirt, you're next. What do you got? How much do you care?
Not that much, but then again, I don't really follow the NBA. Definitely interesting. Also, it's interesting that he did get outkicked by two teammates. So people were talking about whether or not he makes it out of rounds at NC2As and whatnot. And I mean, yeah, he's fast and he's proven that before. He's a sub-4 high schooler and whatnot. But it does on one hand prove that he is the real deal and that he's gonna have great things come. But at the same time, like getting outkicked by two of your own teammates. I mean, yeah, you're a freshman, but like that does cause concern for how you'll handle rounds at a big meet. So, my 2 cents.
Evan, how much do you care about Grant Fisher making his debut here?
I don't know. It was a solid opener. I mean, certainly not the best opener across the country for this year. But I mean, 342 is moving. Like, I mean, he's already broken 4, obviously, but like that's sub 4 again, basically. I don't know. I think he's in pretty good shape. I don't think he'll do the 15 a whole lot this year. Maybe just a couple more times. I think he better suited for the 5K. But yeah, I think it's a solid opener. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Garrett, hypothetically, if you had to write a post on this, how much would you care about this section of the post?
See, and I think I would disagree with Evan saying I think he has a better shot at the 15. The 5K, I think that's where a lot of experienced guys are. We always see seniors and juniors, hopping in there and making some great improvements. So the 1500 already a wide open spot. I think this is a great sign already. 342. That's around a 359-ish conversion roughly for a freshman. Yeah, concerning that maybe he got outkicked by teammates, and rounds are a concern. But he gets to there, or at least he's able to get to nationals. It's a very strong thought that hey, he could really take advantage of a field that is not as clear cut as maybe is the 5K.
Interesting.
So I care quite a bit in terms of the opener. Now I want to see more later, but I do care. So.
Well,
Just one more thing about the 5K thing. He never ran anything beyond a mile really in high school. He ran the 2 mile I think once his senior year, but every single other race he did either indoors or outdoors was mile or 1500 elites. So he kind of knows that he's a miler, and I don't see him going up to the 5K as a freshman.
I'd like to just build on what Garrett said. Last season, Blake Haney opened at Peyton Jordan with a 341. We know what he did at nationals, so.
Yeah, that's exactly where my head was at. Blake Haney. We saw how good some of these youngsters can do on the big stage when the time comes. Here's my question. Evan brought up an interesting point. Garrett brought up an interesting counterpoint. Everybody in one word answer. Fisher this season would have a better chance at nationals in the 15 or the 5K. Caleb, 15 or 5K?
15.
Paul?
15.
Garrett?
15.
Evan?
Oh, now I feel bad. I'm gonna stick with the 5K. Yeah, he showed up big time when it mattered in cross. He ran like 30-50 or something for the 10K. Like, that's flying, especially on the grass. Like,
mute him. Mute him. That's like 80 words.
Fox, I'll give you an extra word because I just cheated with Evan.
See, 2 words doesn't help me.
Oh,
He has a better chance to place in the 15. He'll run a faster comparative 5K at Peyton Jordan.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair.
All right, we're moving on to another one. We're going to have to go a little faster now. I'll try to keep everybody moving. Drew Hunter, for the upcoming Penn Relays, passing on the 3K, the mile, and the Olympic Development Mile to run the DMR with his team. How much do you care about Andrew Hunter's decision? We'll start with Paul.
I honestly think it shows, one, that he's humble and doesn't need to go for the glory all the time, and he's already proven that he's faster than any of us could pretty much have guessed. So there's not much left for him as a high schooler, I think. He could go after Alan Webb's 353, but if he does that, it'll probably only be once or twice. So he doesn't need to do that in the middle of the season, and I think it's good that he knows that.
Garrett, you have anything to say to Paul?
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on. Not often that I agree with Paul, but you know what? He's a team player. He's just, there's nothing really left for him. He's already proven himself. What more can he do? He's going to go out, try to help his team. That's all I got.
Evan, you want to jump in?
Yeah, he has 2 individual titles at the Penn Relays already. He has the 3K and the mile. Why not go after the DMR?
Yeah, that's a big thing for me that he's won both. Fox, what do you think?
Paul said he's not going for glory. I completely disagree. We know nobody's going to beat him in high school in the mile or the 3K. If he wins the DMR, nobody's going to talk about, the team he was on. They're going to talk about what he split. They're going to say Andrew Hunter just, anchored his team to victory. And it's just another thing for him to hang his hat on.
Well, we did see those signs at Indoor Nationals. Are you going to be the hunted or the hunter? Oh,
5 downs.
Caleb, what do you got?
Call it out.
As a fan, I would love to see him and Brandon McGorty going head-to-head in a mile. I think tactically that would be one of the most interesting races of Penn Relays. But I love the fact that he's going after a DMR with his team at the same time. I think especially from his teammates' perspective. You're on the team with someone who's at a historic level for a high schooler, and to be creating memories with them and going after team titles with them, I think is a great, like Paul said, it's just great humility. And it's just one-time opportunity. It's the one time he's going to be teammates with these guys. So I love that he's going after the DMR with them.
All right. Who has a better chance at winning the Penn Relays DMR title? Downingtown West, or, in the words of Alex Fox, Andrew Hunter? Fox, go.
I take Andrew Hunter against the field any day.
Evan.
I would agree.
Garrett.
I like West. I think, you guys start putting all the legs together, and who is good enough to run 4:09 and at least keep it close if the legs are ahead.
Paul, what do you think? You're not even remotely biased, so.
Ooh. I honestly don't know because I have no idea where Andrew Hunter's Loudon Valley teammates are. I'd have to look at numbers and see if Hunter's making up, 5 seconds on DT West or he's trying to make up 15. So I'm just going to say that I don't know.
We saw him win a national title.
Yeah, Caleb, what do you think?
I'm taking Loudon Valley and Andrew Hunter. Great showing at New Balance Indoor Nationals. I think they'll keep it rolling.
All right, we're going to switch gears now. This is going to be a new section of the show. I'm calling it Take Your Pick. You can call it other things if you want. That's what we're going to go with. And it's simple. You're picking one side or the other of the argument. You have two choices. The first topic, here's an interesting one, in my opinion. I made all of them up, so I guess I think they're all interesting. But who is more likely to make the Olympic team at 800 meters this year? Clayton Murphy or Shaquille Walker? And we'll start with Alex Fox.
So, to begin with, I don't think either of them are going to make this team. So, in this scenario, I'm taking, the riskier pick. Clayton Murphy has that experience, but so is everybody he's going up against. So, I think Shaq Walker is just more explosive. I don't really trust him to get through that number of rounds, but if he's on his day, we saw what he can do. 144. I don't think Clayton Murphy has that sort of explosion like these other guys. So, in the right race, Shaq Walker can hang with the big guys. I'll take him.
Garrett, you're next. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I gotta disagree. I mean, the explosiveness is one thing, but it can't get you through rounds. And we saw rounds are probably the most important thing. When I'm looking at my picks, I always look at consistency. Have you been able to do this, 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 and this? And how many trip ups do you have? And Clayton Murphy has 0 trip ups. I mean, when's the last time you remember him having a bad race? Maybe back to indoors at PSU where he still ran 148. But even then, there's no way this guy with experience who has the round running, he's a national champion. I just don't see how he has a less of a chance shot than Shaq.
Well, the guy who I want to hear from when we're talking about 800 meters is definitely Evan, considering his most recent race. Evan,
I'm gonna say Clayton Murphy. He won Pan Ams last year. He went to Worlds and got out of prelims. He made semis, but still got out of a round. Indoor NCAA championship, I think. I might be imagining that. Was that 2 years ago he won indoors?
This year.
Sure.
This year? Okay. I just think I think he's a better pick to make the Olympic team. But I don't think either of them will, so.
Caleb, what about you? What do you got?
I think the main characteristic that stands out when you talk about the two, Clayton Murphy is consistently great at the end of the year. He knows how to run great races when it matters, and that's what it takes to make the Olympic team. And we saw Simmons last year had a terrible year, but he peaked for the trials perfectly, made the World's team, and then forfeited his spot, giving it to Clayton Murphy. But I think Murphy puts himself where he needs to be. Shaq Walker still feels a little bit more like a time trial guy to me than an out-and-out racer.
Paul, you get the last word here if you want it. What do you got?
I don't know too much about either of these guys, but I do remember watching the 800 NC2As this indoor season, and Clayton Murphy looked like he handled that field a little too comfortably, which is why I'm giving him the edge. But then again, I don't really even know who Shaq Walker is, other than he's up to 144.99, which, I mean, a lot of people have proven that they have, randomly good races and can run a fast 800.
Nice, Royal.
I'm going to choose experience. I don't know. I think I rambled there a bit too much.
All right, good stuff from everybody there. I'm definitely excited about that question. Here's another one that I think you guys might find interesting. It centers around Penn State University. We have a couple 800-meter runners there. Isaiah Harris, kind of the big-name freshman who's been dropping time in a hurry. And then you have Brandon Kidder, who's been doing work consistently for years. Who do you think is more likely to place high at NCAAs? Another take your pick. We'll start with Garrett this time.
Got to go Brandon Kidder. We both saw they didn't really both have great days at NCAAs indoors this past winter, but in the end, it was still Kidder who was an All-American and Isaiah Harris who didn't even make it to the final round, even though we had a lot of us had him, going to the top 8. Experience plays a role, and being able to get through rounds. So, I'm not really sure. Maybe Isaiah Harris has shown that, in terms of time, that he does have the edge. But Kidder just he wants the title too much, and I think that gives him the edge in the long run.
Caleb, what do you think?
I think anytime you've got two athletes who are close, I always look at experience. And I mean, Harris has yet to run faster than Kidder's PR. Kidder's run 145 mid, so he's faster than Harris and he's more experienced. So I don't think it's much of a question. Kidder's going to show up. He'll get the job done.
Sticking with people wearing green shirts, Paul, you want to jump in? Even though we can't see your shirt, but what do you got?
There
There it is.
Pretty much the same thing. Kidder's got a lot more experience than Harris. Yes, Harris is explosive and could definitely surprise people, but I think at the NCAA level, you want to pick experience over just freshman wow factors.
I feel like if Fox's friend Dylan was here, he might be arguing for Harris. Fox, are you going to argue for Harris?
You can't in this situation. Like we've said, Kidder has a faster PR. He's got the experience in rounds. And not only that, he's a stronger runner. He run 3:56 for the mile. Isaiah Harris isn't doing that. Out and out, he's a better runner. You can't pick against him.
Evan, round us out. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Kidder as well. He's an Ohio guy, and I'm like a pseudo-Ohio guy. I don't know, just so much more experience. Like, it's awesome to see a freshman run fast, but, I mean, like, a lot of freshmen run fast, so I'm going to go with Kidder.
So it looks like we're all in agreement here. Interesting stuff. Okay.
Well, Jared, who do you have? Do you have Harris or Kidder right now? Who do you got?
I have Kidder, unfortunately.
Okay. There we go. I just want to clarify.
Pretty boring question, I guess. But we move on. We're jumping to what will be our last segment of the night, and it's called Do You Trust Them? Which sounds like a pretty simple question, and probably could have a more creative name, but that is what I came up with. So, question is simple. Do you trust them? Our first person, we'll start with Caleb since he already alluded to this. Andres Arroyo of Florida. Do you trust him?
No. The man's a professional time trialer, and he runs great times. He's got great talent. Nobody can deny that. But he's yet to execute a championship race. It sounds a little harsh, but he's choked every year. So, no, I don't.
Fox, what do you think? Do you trust Andres?
Well, I'm going to start by saying this should be called buy or sell. It makes so much more sense, and I'm going to sell on Andres Arroyo. This is just a personal experience where time after time I've put in my faith on the internet in Andres Arroyo, and he's made me look bad.
Amen.
So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not gonna fool me 3 times.
All right, we're gonna make this interesting. We're gonna switch the person now, and moving from Andres Arroyo to Mr. Donovan Brazier. Garrett, start us up.
Oh, I was so ready to go off on Arroyo. You have no idea. But you know what, Brazier, he's young. He's run 145 high indoors, right? I mean, there's so much potential there. Yes, he had a trip up at nationals, but with so much potential with everything down the line. I mean, I'm keeping him. I'm looking. I'm staying focused on him. However, mentally when on the big stage, I'm a little concerned. He hopped out with something that we weren't really sure if it was that major or not. So a little concerned there. I'm being cautious, but I'm still very optimistic.
Evan, what do you think on Donovan?
I'm gonna say yes on Brazier. We said he ran like under 147 how many times in indoors? Like that's really solid for a freshman. Yeah, like I just think he's gonna keep getting better. I think he's gonna have a pretty solid outdoor season. So I'm gonna say yeah on Brazier.
Paul, what do you think? Do you trust him?
I do. I'm going to give him the benefit of he's just a freshman, and we've seen pretty much only one concern thing out of him, and I'm not going to put too much stock in just one thing. Even if it was at NC2As, it was one race, and he's a freshman. I mean, he's obviously proven that he has a ton of talent, and he's got good coaching and good teammates, too, even. He's probably racing every day with Hector Hernandez. So I feel like that will help him develop stronger mentally as a runner, just having those teammates there with him. And so, yeah, I'm still buying on him.
All right. So it sounds like we had an interesting interlocking series of segments there between buy or sell and do you trust.
Give me like 10 minutes.
Okay. Last question, as we're about out of time. I want everybody, in the most concise way you can, to give me your favorite or best or most intriguing performance. Whatever performance is that if you could only pick one to talk about in front of an audience of now 5 viewers.
I don't even think we have viewers, honestly. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, we've got 5. Nope, we're down to 4. Somebody just left because of that. One performance. You can pick one performance to engage the crowd. Alex Fox, I'm going to you first because you're our most engaging. What do you got?
I'd like to point out a race that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. It was between Connor Dunn, Austin Tamango, and Eduardo Herrera. In that race, we saw a 4:04, a 4:05, and a 4:05 full mile. And 2 of those guys, Eduardo Herrera and Connor Dunn, are going to Colorado. I know that Oregon has this amazing class, but you put those 2 guys in and Philip Roca in that class. Colorado's losing a lot, but they're also taking in a ton. That race went under the radar. It shouldn't have. Watch out for the bus next year.
All right. Next, we'll go to Evan. What's your one race to capture the fans?
Oh boy, let me think.
Is it
I
the
give up.
The 211?
My 211 800? No.
Just give us a brief play-by-play of that race.
You want a play-by-play of that race? All right. It went out in 68 seconds, which was like the slowest 800 opener ever, and I was in like 4th. And then we gapped the field. Me and the top 3 gapped the field by like 50 meters in like 100 meters. And then like 200 to go, I was like, I kind of want to give up, but like I don't think these guys are actually that fast. And then I closed in like 30, which was really weird because I'm not that fast. So that was that.
So
no.
Really healthy.
We asked you to describe your race, not David Rhodesia running 140.
Well, that's what I came. I came through a 600 and 140. So.
All right, Caleb, what do you got? What's your race?
Isaac Yorks and Brandon McGorty running 353. Yeah, there's something exciting about watching guys run fast. But when it's 2 guys in a race, there's no one pacing them out front. It's just 2 guys going at it. That's that's special. So I love that race. Dang it, Fox. I knew I was going to get something wrong. Just when there was no pacer in that race. Either way, two college guys around 353, duking it out over the last 400. That was a great race. That's the one I'd pick.
Paul, I'll even let you go to a swim race if you want. What's your one race?
Oh God, no! Don't do it, Paul.
No, I'm not going to. I actually did have something else in mind. Michael Slagowski, who he sold a 148.7, winning by about 5 seconds. That shows he's incredibly strong, even after his win at New Balance Indoors. And the future Penn State recruit does have a bright future ahead of him doing the 800 U.S. State. So that's my race.
All right, Garrett, you're pretty popular over there, but
I know. I've got some really annoying roommates, so yeah, they're always going after me here. But yeah, hey guys. So, but anyways, I'm actually going with my boy Tommy Curtin. How about the ISU Classic? He's leading the entire way. It was a 5K. He's going out there. All of a sudden, you got a pack led by Mark Scott coming in, and closing. And all of a sudden you're thinking, there's no way Thomas Curtin's going to be able to finish it. No, Thomas Curtin gets the pass back, finishes hard, chases him down on the final straightaway. Thomas Curtin, your champion, 13:37. Probably the most impressive race besides Edward Cheserick's triplet NCAAs that I remember. So my boy Thomas Curtin, Virginia Tech, getting it done.
great stuff. The winner of today, I've decided, is Caleb, because you went all out representing Craig Lutz. Caleb, you want to tell us about Caleb, tell us about your flags.
Oh, I have Texas flags from the Texas State meet, courtesy of the one and only Kevin Frost, graduated last year, but they are hanging up around the edge of my whole room so you can see them. So those are authentic, verified Texas State meet Longhorn flags.
Great stuff. Well, really, we're all winners because we sat around all night talking about track. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and for coming out. We are hopefully going to do this again very soon. Have a great night.